Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Barrington Robinson and friends. I want to welcome our millions of viewers worldwide, but I especially want to welcome our very talented co-host, Ms. Jackie Williams.
Thank you, Ron.
Mr. Henry Hatter.
Jackie, Ron.
Welcome all. In my opinion, Flint, Michigan has become a national embarrassment. Why? The answer is poor leadership by city, state, and national leaders, including religious, civil rights, and social agencies. Most have no vision, no integrity, are only after what they can get. The mindset is, I get mine, you get yours. Flint, Michigan is one of those cities that have no positive plans for the future, a city that goes along to get along. If I was mayor, I would clean up City Hall from top to bottom and demand accountability on all levels. No more good old boy women shit. I would be a leader and not a follower. I would not be dedicated or obligated to anyone rich or poor. The citizens, meaning all, would be my first and only priority. Social agencies, civil rights, law enforcement, stop blaming the poor and marginalized for the condition of the city and its populace. They need help in the poorest city in the state of Michigan and country. We need jobs as our first priority. No jobs, no affordable housing, no growth, poor health care. No police or fire protection. Crime is going unchecked due to layoffs. Quality city services is all but gone. But City Hall can hire people at 6-digit salaries. It's no wonder this once great city is in such dire straits, the abyss with no end in sight. Flint, Michigan, and my adopted city for the last 25 plus years, once the pride of America, with livable wage jobs, quality education, a safe place to raise families and growth, has become a third world city in my opinion, with crumbling streets, burned out housing and businesses by the thousands. Educational levels have dropped substantially. Thousands of people have already left the city to find better, and more are leaving daily, and still more want to leave. No employer will come to this city or any other city with these kinds of statistics. All we get from those so-called leaders is bull and more bullshit. We must change this mindset. How? Any ideas, Mr. Hatter?
I'm going to yield to Jackie first, if you don't mind.
You brought up some very good points. Our leadership truly has failed us from the top all the way down. And when the state took over, they pretty much had their own ideas about what they were doing, but they didn't care about the viability of Flint. They just cared about doing certain things to get them done. Also, in order for us to get back to where we need to get back to, we need to have a vision and a plan, as you said. The Bible says with no vision we will perish, and that's what we're doing because we're just going through day by day. Schools are closing. I think they're even considering the last high school to be condensed to one high school in the city of Flint, which is very unheard of. But because we have poor leadership and people are coming here that really don't care about us. But then you look at the way that City Hall is set up. We are so top heavy that I would rather have police on the street versus all the administrative jobs with car vouchers. I think that stuff could have been held off a little bit, spread out the work and hire some more police. And we even did a millage increase to get more police. And I don't recall ever seeing additional cops on the street. So we have failed the people here over and over again. And until we come to a solution, like the water, we come into a solution. They fought until they came to a solution. We need to fight for jobs like that because Mayor Weiland said that he was going to, no, not Mayor Weiland, Governor Snyder said the reason why we were going to a right to work state is because we were going to bring in jobs. I don't know any that has come because we're a right to work state. I know many have left because it's cheaper to work other places. So all the things that we have been promised, there's been a lot of broken promises from the governor all the way down to the mayor and the city council members. So I just think people should be accountable in offices before they run. You need to make sure that they have Flint's best interests first and not their own agendas. Now I yield to you, Henry.
Well stated. First of all, The governor's position is to see when cities are struggling and can't manage their own governance in the name of the people, then the governor must step in. He must seize their authority. He has the right under the Constitution to do that. But the people who live here, it is their rightful jobs to see that they have adequate income to provide services for people who say they need these services, police, fire, school, whatever the service is. And we need to make sure that the money is adequate, renewable, and available at all times. But that just didn't happen in the city of Flint. Just like Ron said in his preamble, and you followed him and said that the leadership has failed. And that's true. But that's not the people's fault who live outside of the city of Flint. That's the city of Flint's jurisdiction. The leaders have to take care of that. If they find themselves in deep trouble, then they turn to the governor. Because the governor can interfere based on constitutional requirements. But nobody else can. If the people fail, your leaders fail you, it is your fault. It is not anybody else's fault. Because each of us live in a jurisdiction that we govern. The school system, for example. Flint schools are down to 5,800 kids. No, they're down to 50, less than that, 53 or 5,500. Now, Grand Blanc was the largest district with 8,800. It replaced Flint maybe 2 years ago. And now Davison has stepped up, and they're about 5,800. They're the second largest school district in Genesee County. Flint is third, and still declining. Now, a lot of things are happening that's not the system's fault. It's not the governor's fault. It's not Grand Blanc's fault or anybody else, but it's Flint's fault. And even though we had the loss of a lot of industry here, and that was unfortunate, but that's not other people's fault. And they're not going to step in and help bail Flint out. It's not their job. They got their own things to do. But what we need to do is have leadership, just like you say, organizing. And the people of the city of Flint need to organize themselves, establish the plan that you're talking about, and then decide to either raise taxes through a leverage or through a referendum. They need to take care of themselves. There's a big debt out there that the city of Flint owes. And it's owes because a lot of businesses have left town. They've left infrastructure here. And they left obligations that the city, the people here just don't have the money to pay for. There aren't enough people. If 200,000 people have left and we operated on 200,000, and we had 78,000 people working for General Motors Corporation here 30 years ago, and they made an average of $40,000 a year, that money's gone. We're down to 8,000 people in the city of Flint. And those resources are no longer here. And so the city has inherited problems. But it's not other people's fault. We have to decide to figure out how we're going to work through this. You got to get the people to work together. If you do, people are not going to work together. And the city of Flint has had irreparable damage due to its water problem, due to its underperforming schools, due to its crime. What businesses are going to relocate in Flint with a government that's unfriendly, with an education system that's faulty, with crime that's rampant? Ask yourself, would you locate in such a city? No, you wouldn't. We've got to grow ourselves out of it, and it's going to take that plan that you're talking about. And maybe that will start next term, and you got to guide the mayor. The mayor doesn't know everything. And you got to have strong and powerful individuals that are knowledgeable, educated, well-positioned. And Flint is not as poor as you think it is.
Oh, I know.
General Motors left millions of dollars here in institutions, the cultural center, the hospitals, the colleges, universities. Tremendous amount of money that could be leveraged. They left a lot of money for those people who work there and retired there. They have residual income that could be amassed through the right kind of a plan and put Flint back on the map. But it's going to take that kind of effort.
And leadership.
Yeah,
Leadership.
yeah. Because it's going to take time because downtown is actually locked up. All the buildings are sold. There is no buildings downtown for, available. And matter of fact, University of Michigan just acquired First Merit Bank. And they paid millions for it. So it's turning into a college town. But whatever our new resource is, that's what our new resource is. And you need to prepare yourself academically, to be able to go in and get a job in those areas that are flourishing, because there are some that are flourishing. So you need to be able to do that. Make yourself, a commodity for them.
Well, absolutely, because, it's become a college town, as you said, but businesses need to relocate here, all right, because these students don't pay taxes.
Right.
And we've got to have we've got to encourage businesses, to relocate to Flint so that we can realize a tax base. Okay, so that we can afford to hire or bring back off a layoff police officers and firemen. Okay,
Right.
and I applaud those ones that still have their jobs, and hopefully they'll be brought back. They'll be brought back to work. I want to change.
Ryan, can I just say
Sure.
one? Now, if there was a plan, Jackie, it's such, an appeal to people that work for General Motors and retire from General Motors and go to the various institutions where money was invested by General Motors and the cultural institution and the colleges and universities, ask them to pledge monies to a capital formation fund to rebuild Flint. I would gladly offer $1,000. They don't have to pay me back. But if there were such a fund, if there were such an effort, now remember there are other people who can afford much more than I can, and colleges and universities and General Motors Corporation and others. Think about 78,000 people. Some of them don't even live anymore. But think about all of that money that's out there. Think about how we could leverage across that money in order to, if we do that, then we all benefit.
That's the conversation needs
We
to be
all
had.
Exactly.
That's the conversation that need to be had. Instead of what we don't have, what we do have. We need to build off what we do have.
And
Go from there.
Mr. Header, I would be willing to match, to that $1,000.
But somebody has to think about that.
Exactly.
And if you try to get some chip in, other people seeing the struggle, all they want to do is just see some leadership. My God.
Right.
Bill Gates, Trump, people with large pockets of money could bring us, say that we had $100 million in investment money. Now, how would that look? That would attract businesses. And we have I was so amazed, just about 2 miles from here, down on the expressway and George Highway, over the Center Road, how they built that whole beautiful approach to Flint by the bus station. You should see it lit up at night. It looks like a beautiful, rich city at night. Have you seen it?
That's right where I work.
Is it?
Yes.
Well,
that is
look
very
at that.
nice. They
Look
work-
at the opportunities that we have. And Tim Herman just talked about it. I didn't get to it on the comments section with the mayoral candidate, but it was one of those that shows possibilities. We need to have that plan. See if you can generate it.
Well, let's change course here. Why do Americans and Canadians celebrate Christopher Columbus Day? He was a murderer, a rapist, a slaver, and according to history was responsible for the murder and disease of millions. Why in the world do we celebrate Christopher Columbus Day? It boggles the mind, and I'm sure the question is going rampant on on the internet. Okay, history will tell those non-believers, just pull up Christopher Columbus on the internet or go to your public library and bring him up. It will tell you everything. Okay. According to established history, he never came to the United States, all right? It was the islands, all right, and South America. Jackie, you had something interesting to say about Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, it was actually really cute on Christopher Columbus holiday on Monday. Somebody had on Facebook, Christopher Columbus, you are not the father of America. Kind of off of the Maury show. So that was really cute, but it's a thought-provoking statement. It made you think about what he was saying. And when I saw the statement, I started to do my research, and I was just really, really taken back by all the things that he had did that was not positive. And I was disappointed that we would actually set aside a day for somebody that took from people more than he gave. So everybody has their own opinion, but my opinion is you can't discover something that was already occupied. And then you can't ostracize the people that were already here and use them as your slaves and, barricade them and take from them what they had already put together. So his whole thing that he did, he stood for, was not positive. So I don't know how, out of all the great people we had in America, how you would put a holiday to promote what he did. So I don't celebrate Columbus Day.
And I don't either. Never have, really. Okay, that's the same thing as I don't celebrate Thanksgiving either. For the very reason is that history will tell you. Okay, you don't have to take Ronald Barrington Robinson's word for it. History will tell you that the very people that helped the Pilgrims from starvation, the very same Pilgrims killed many of those people. Okay, and Native Americans will attest to that. Mr. Hedder, what's your thought?
Ron, I'm going to depart just a little bit, Ron. History doesn't always get it right. I believe that there were less than 6 million people in the world when Christopher Columbus lived. 6 million in the whole world. And he may have killed a couple hundred people. And maybe in those days, that was seen like a slaughter of a large group of people. But there wasn't that much population.
He decimated entire nations.
Okay.
All right, from the Bahamas all the way to South America. It's there. Okay. It's there. It don't say nothing about no couple hundred or anything like that. All right.
Stop. Do the math. Go back to the internet and look at the population of the world in 1500. He sailed in 1492. Now I remember from a boy, and I always remember the poem, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And I had that great rhythmic type, and he became my hero. Oh. And I know today that had Christopher Columbus not lived, you wouldn't be sitting at this table, sir.
You would.
You wouldn't either. You would not be sitting. Because Christopher Columbus made it possible, his action made it possible for all of those events to occur so that you would be born. And the world would look like it is today. Somebody had to do it. Somebody discovered a new world.
How can you
And hang
discover
on.
something that's already
It's
been discovered
but it
by
discovered,
the
you have to look
Chinese, the
You know,
Africans?
Yeah,
No.
they had them already
Listen.
Okay.
here, and you
You're
came and
picking
just
fly manure out of black pepper. But,
No, it's facts.
but
Do your
but
history,
look,
Henry.
Look, but you're looking at it in such a way that is unnecessarily argumentative and not true.
We've been lied to and bullshitted so much, Henry. All right. Even when I was in school, okay, I went to all white school. All right. Only thing we ever heard about was Martin Luther King and
Rosa Parks.
Rosa Parks. That's it.
Those were the two.
Those are the two.
And Joe
okay.
Lewis.
Yeah, and Joe Lewis. All right. All that history we never knew anything about. Okay. I mean, even today I'm amazed when I go to these museums. All right. I've been to a number of them. And seeing, the accomplishments, okay? Now there's been a flood on Facebook about the accomplishments, all right, and pictures and ways that you can get into, different archives and so forth, okay? I don't like folk changing history to suit themselves.
But
All right.
Ron, that was the time that those people they controlled the argument.
Right, but now it's time to let the people
okay,
know the
you're
truth.
Right, you're right. You're right.
Get it out there.
I don't.
Say
I'm
it
not
again,
arguing
say it again,
that.
Henry, you say what? He's
that,
right.
Now I'm not arguing against that.
Okay.
But I'm arguing for the event that occurred. Christopher Columbus made that event that brought us our existence. We could have never been born. The world would be different without that particular event, because it was to give rise to the greatest nation ever, and we. And
But it
you
came at a cost.
can't.
That's what we're telling you. It
But
came at a big
everything,
cost.
the Romans did the same thing. Without the Romans or the Greeks or the Israelis or the Hebrews, none of that. We would be here if those events, certain events, didn't occur in history. And Christopher Columbus happened to be one of them. And so even though you don't like him, and he may have never seen a black person, I don't know whether he did, but he obviously couldn't have anything against you if he didn't know you existed. But he knew the American Indian did. And he had to remove those who challenged him. That's what you do. You're an occupier. He came here to establish land for Spain. Not for Italy. He was born in Italy.
He never set foot in America,
well, that's
in
a
the United
technical point.
States. That's a fact.
No, but that's
That's
a
a
technical
fact.
point.
All right.
He came close to the island.
It's a myth.
Within 80 miles.
You
Okay.
said he was outside of the.
Yeah, it's 80 miles, and that's considered that's considered just a futile argument there. But the event that he caused changed the world. And so you got to give him his due. He may have killed a few people, just like we would kill for the same reason if we were in the same circumstance. We were in the same circumstances. You would do
Everybody
the same
doesn't have
thing.
that mindset.
Well,
He
that's what
killed
you
for
say.
greed and occupation.
Well, he may
Okay.
have killed for occupation because he was here to
But then we had to go back and give them.
give who?
We had to go back and give the Native Americans something because we knew we took it. So we had to give them land.
Yeah.
We had to go back and give them land. So they had a break in what they had suffered,
But-
a
but-
partial break.
But that was
Because we know we were
the
wrong.
practice of the time. It doesn't matter whether you were American,
But he didn't
English,
give it to him. We gave it
Jewish,
to
or
them.
whatever.
When
But-
did they get their due? It wasn't during his time.
But
So
we're
it wasn't
talking
him.
about the event. Now, he did what people did in those days. England and France and Germany, England and France basically, and Portugal and all of those countries were fighting each other. They needed money to support the Armada and all of those. So Columbus and his group set out to occupy new lands, to discover gold and spices and stuff like that, to bring back to support the war effort. He did what he had to do. That's what you would do. You give me that kind of thing.
You'll still too?
Yeah, I will. If the man gave me that as a Henry
You're right.
Sickle, I would go out and do my job. Okay? If you gave me that job, Ron, I would go out and do my job. I would be loyal.
I wouldn't give you that job, Henry.
I would accomplish it.
To kill and murder and things
No,
of
you
that
don't give me.
nature.
You don't say kill. You say go out and occupy lands.
Well, those just play on words, you know what I mean? But I think it
Do
was.
what you need to do.
I think it was appalling. All right.
It's unfortunate.
In any event.
And the other thing, my last point here. Now, I don't think that Columbus had any intent to kill people, but he didn't see any structures. Now, remember, in Europe, they were all buildings made of wood, of concrete, of copper, and all that stuff. When he came to America, he saw nothing. And so, therefore, nothing was claimed, and everything was in the eminent domain. Eminent domain, that's what they look for. Eminent domain belongs to anybody. Sorry, the end.
Well, that might be true. That doesn't make it right.
Right.
Okay. But again, this has been a wonderful conversation, people. To tune into our catalog, simply go to, in capital letters, RBRIMO, okay, via YouTube. And hopefully that you will become a subscriber. It's free. Free, people. It's free. So enjoy our work. I want to thank Mr. Henry Hatter and Mrs. Jackie Williams, and you again, our millions of viewers worldwide. This is Ronald Barry Robinson saying, until next time, stay focused.